Hey, we're Anthem Lights!
And I'm Nick!
And you're watching Bandkind!
Hey, I'm Nick with Bandkind, and I'm here with the vocal group Anthem Lights. Hey, guys. We're going to get into some questions about their music. I want to know, in the versatility of Anthem Lights, what person loves which part most. But let's first meet the guys. Hey, Chad, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good.
Chad Graham is my name. I am from, I grew up in Fort Myers, Florida. As you can see, representing Florida. Yeah, I've been in the band since the beginning. It's been a long time. That's all I know. I sing high. There you go.
That's awesome. We love those falsettos. Hey, Joey.
Hey, what's up? I'm Joey. I am, how did you do it? Joey is my name, and Life is my game. I'm from Ohio originally. I am not an original founding member of Anthem Lights, but I did join very early. Feels like I've known these guys my whole life. So,
wow, that's awesome. And you're doing lots of the production on the project, right?
I am
doing all of it, basically.
Our music director.
When I joined the band, I was too nervous to play piano in front of the guys, even though I was much better piano player than I was a singer. So I let another bandmate do all the piano parts. It took me a long time to feel like I was good enough at producing but the guys are very encouraging and always try and push me to do the stuff that makes me nervous and uncomfortable. So
I love that, coming in with your not strongest part, and then just coming in and being like, oof, here's the deal.
Right.
It's kind of my style. I'm just like, I guess I could try and play piano if you guys want to, even though it's thing I'm good at.
Joey's got great self-promotion part.
Oh, and this is Caleb. Caleb, hey.
I am from South Dakota. I guess we're talking about where we're from. So here I'm from South Dakota.
Love it.
Along with Chad, I'm a founding member as well.
I love that, those South Dakota roots. I just got back from Montana, and that's where I'm born and raised. So big ups for that part of the country.
Big Sky Country.
That's right.
Spencer's my name. I'm from Indiana, and I'm the newest member, the baby of the group. I wasn't even born when the guys started the band, so that's kind of the joke. But yeah, joined in 2016, and it's been an awesome ride ever since.
That is awesome. And Spencer, you're doing some songwriting, aren't you?
I am. Joey and I have been writing a lot for this new record. It's been really cool to work with my bandmate on original music. That's kind of a recent daily routine in the last few years, and that's been really fun. And so being able to write, God gave me freedom, Joey and I did, and that's currently in radio thanks to you. And it's just been so cool to see. So very excited about this new record. Thanks
to you guys. Seriously, God Gave Me Freedom had some evolution to it as it was going through the recording process. And I just love how it ended up. I love the mix and the dynamics. And it's hard to produce a vocal group and really get all four voices in there. And I think this song does. And I think that is a gift. Sometimes in producing a vocal group, it's sort of just everybody gets, all the levels end up rising at the same time, and you can't really find those dynamics. But I'm really impressed, and I'm not surprised at all that it is a top 40 Billboard song on Christian Airplay for you guys. Love that so much. Now, as you're working on your record, well, the versatility that you guys have in your mashups and your worship and your original songs, is this going to be an original album? All originals?
It will be.
That's amazing.
It's an original Christian record. We've got our Kickstarter for the record funded last week at the buzzer.
What? Are you kidding?
Back to us on the live stream, ready to wave the white flag and say, hey guys, it's okay, we're still gonna try to make music.
my gosh.
Yeah, and they came. Our amazing fans came through at the end and got us over the top, and so we're so thankful, and we're just gonna try to make the best record we've ever made.
Oh my goodness. I cannot wait for it. And you have another voice kind of speaking in your ears this time on this record. And is it true you met Mark Stewart at church?
Did you guys meet Mark at church? I did.
Does Mark go to church? No.
Mark is church. He brings church to so many different people. He's an awesome guy.
True.
I have known Mark since Audio Adrenaline was trying to find their voice. It was a journey for them as well, as it is for most bands. And I am amazed by him connecting with you guys because he's a frontman, a rock star, a producer. He's an evangelist. He's an author. I wanted to read a little excerpt from his book, and it just kind of gives a scope of who Mark is. This is during a concert, and this guy says, Mark, and he's pulling on his pant leg because Mark is on stage singing. This is a live concert. He said, I tried to walk away, and he started looking for security. Mark, I finally looked to him, and I realized who it is. He's smiling, standing in front of me, my high school president, and he looked much older than he was when he used to pass out cigarettes in exchange for votes. I stopped singing. The song fell apart. Live concert here. The mic was on. Instead of listening to the song that the audience was expecting to hear, Big House, they were now listening to Mark saying, what are you doing here? The guy says, I'm a Christian now. We're rocking out, doing the Jesus thing. Mark says, well, I'm singing in this band. What have you been up to? Can't you hear Mark doing this on stage? And then he says he realized that this guy was unfiltered, but he invited him backstage after the show, got the rest of his story. He was a guy that lived a fast, hard life after high school. He became a Christian and was driving trucks, but he was looking for a new job. And Mark ends this chapter with, that's great. We need a bus driver. That's
cool.
Mark, right?
Yeah.
And so when I found out that he connected with Anthem Lights, I just knew something really special was going to take place with you guys. How has Mark spoken into your life or into your music?
You just demonstrated so perfectly. He's such an amazing, elegant storyteller, and so much of what we do in music is storytelling. And he many times helped us kind of craft the narrative around what's going on. When things don't make sense, he's like, no, this is just part of the story. Like your career goes through seasons, and he helps us make sense of it all. And he just always is there to provide such wisdom and insight and guidance. And that's really what personally, as an artist, what I look for in a manager. Now, we've been doing this for 10, 15 years. It's not like we don't know what we're doing, but we need someone that can just sort of be there as like a guru, just someone. And I can't think of a better person than Mark Stewart.
Anybody else want to answer that?
A very specific example that I think is kind of cool. It was, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Mark's idea for us to try and write a song to send to radio. And then it was Mark's idea to send God Gave Me Freedom as that song once he heard it. And so he's kind of in a very specific, real way helping lead us through this new phase in our career as a band. So that's cool.
I love that. And lyrically, he even is making suggestions along the way. Of course, he's an amazing songwriter. And so I love that he's going to walk with you along this new record. So fun. So what's the most challenging part of putting together original songs when you have, so many different aspects? And even your fans can speak to that. They're like, I love the mashup side of Anthem Lights, or I love the more inspirational side of them, or the pop side. So lyrically, will you rap these songs? I mean, don't rap.
He can rap for us.
Rap.
If we need something to rap, he can pull it off.
Anthem Lights, the rap band.
Somebody wants
Done everything else. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. You have done everything else. And Caleb was just talking about how amazing your fans are. You guys, I mean, fandom, it's unreal, the following that you guys have.
Yeah, I think part of what makes the Anthem Lights fan base so special is that they've been so welcoming to however many different things we've thrown at them. Like we have truly diversified our sound in so many different ways. If you wanted to hear songs by your favorite artist, it's a pretty solid percentage chance that we've covered them. And
Yeah.
so to have people kind of come alongside us and not necessarily be like looking for one specific thing, but just enjoy what the four of us can kind of put together and release as really given us a lot of freedom to kind of just be like, all right, now that we have this base of people who really, believe and love what we do, we can experiment a little bit to try and continuing to cast that net out there to, capture more hearts and ears and eyes on socials and stuff. And so as we're approaching this original record, we were trying to figure out what original music have people been drawn to in the past as we've dropped? What type of sound do they like to hear when it is our voice and not just us covering somebody else? But also trying to capture what we do best, which is those mashups and covers and the harmonies and the thick arrangements and stuff. So Joey's been doing such a great job trying to capture that, but in a modern production, adding drums and kicks and snares and synths and stuff that's not traditionally in our covers. But to be able to do that over the top of this production that, you're hearing out of these original songs, I think it's going to kind of help us stand apart a little bit too, just because that's four voices on one song, harmonies on one song that typically wouldn't be heard in the CCM and Christian space. And I think that's something that, without years of experience that we've been able to put together from all those songs wouldn't be as legit. And so I'm just excited to be able to write these songs and get them out. So that's not only, what we've been doing sonically, but also from our hearts and from our, our faith and perspective that we've had as adults lately.
Well said. And we talked about that out of all the songs that are being played across the nation right now, God Gave Me Freedom, top 40 song in the United States of America. People resonate with God giving them freedom. What does freedom mean to you guys?
Great question. I guess I'll go first. I guess in the context of that song, God Gave Me Freedom, to me, it's really about being freed from the weight of anxiety, I guess. You know the verse, cast your cares upon the Lord. I think about my yoke is easier, my burden is light. I think about that verse when I think about that song a lot. And I just think about God Gave Me Freedom to me is the feeling of the weight being lifted off my shoulders and God helping me. So,
wow.
Context of that song, at least.
I think for me, that song represents a lot. I dealt my, most of my life growing up with addictions and whatnot that I had to battle and go through recovery on. For me, it's being able to give it all to God and give away the control, because it's always easy for me to try to control things myself and think I can do it on my own. And for me, putting the freedom in God is just giving it to him and saying, I can't do this on my own anymore. I need your help. And so for me, that's the meaning of the song.
Yeah. Obviously, it's so cool, and like a songwriter like Joey spent a song like they wrote it about a very specific thing, but it is so much broader and can appeal to anybody going through whether it's addiction or anxiety or loneliness or loss or whatever you're going through. It can feel like more like you're not living life, but life is living you. And you feel kind of trapped and so it's kind of that it's like God reaching down and grabbing you by the hand. It's not like he's saying, I'm going to remove you from this, but I'm going to walk with you through it. You're not going to be alone, and that is a really freeing feeling, and I think that might be what people are kind of resonating with this song. It's like, man, just the idea that somebody's going to walk through this with me is an immense sense of encouragement that comes with that.
Caleb, that is well said. And I mean, it really summarizes who you might say God is. A lot of people think he's out there and not involved in the day to day. But to walk through some of that stuff with someone, it's unbelievable that a savior would stoop to that level.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What is the most challenging part of touring for Anthem Lights as a vocal group?
The fathers should answer this one.
People may not know. They might look at our, our catalog and think, wow, they're so prolific. They work so hard. They do so much music. And that's true, but it's because we don't really tour that much. And that's intentional because, our former band member, when we kind of started this, he had a lot of children at the time. And now I have 3 kids and Joey has a baby. And so none of us want to leave town a lot. I mean, we relish the opportunity to go and play shows when it makes sense and when we can. But the truth is we just don't want to be gone from our kids a whole lot, and so we have to be very selective about the dates that we take. So that's the biggest challenge, I would say.
Yeah.
It's just the logistics of leaving a family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a tough road because it's a ministry, really. You're going out, you're trying to lift people's hearts, and at the same time, hearts at home might be falling. That's such a challenge in our industry to balance those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't obviously go out on the road very consistently. It's a lot of one-off dates. This random town at this theater booked us, or this church booked us for this event or a festival, and because of the variety of dates that we might receive, we don't really have consistency in like production and in our equipment and stuff sometimes. So we are kind of going in blind a lot, just hoping that venues will have things set up appropriately and ready for us. And so there's struggles that come along with that, but we are blessed enough to be able to, provide for our families and not have to be married to a tour bus. So it's the gives and takes of that whole thing for us specifically. But like Caleb said, we've kind of set that up intentionally just so we can be around our friends and family more times than not.
Just one other difficulty that comes with touring from Anthem Lights. As you mentioned, there's a lot of versatility. We're really 7 different bands in one. So a lot of times we'll go play a show and we don't know which Anthem Lights we're supposed to be for that specific show. So somebody's going to be mad that we didn't do more hymns, and someone's going to be confused that we did hymns at all. So kind of interesting to figure out what we're supposed to play at shows because we have such a variety.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
You're gonna be coming to Christ and also celebrating the year 2012 at our show, and there's no in between.
I love that. I love that. You know what else I love is the video that you guys did. I love to see the interaction between you guys. It just seems so genuine. I sense that you guys are really in each other's lives.
Honestly, some of the best parts of touring is the hangs that surround the show. We all genuinely love hanging out and being in a new city and just like goofing around. And that's like, we wake up excited for the show, but we're also like, hey, we get to go hang out in a new city and kick it. And we really do have a great time. And I'm an only child, so these guys have really kind of been like my brothers. And being able to experience that type of relationship, it's very genuine and authentic, at least from me. As we're doing these goofy videos and cartoon shows on TV and random things, it doesn't feel like an act. It's like I can just kind of pull on how we would be normally acting in general, honestly. So it's great.
We oftentimes will just, after dying laughing for the past hour at each other, we'll just also be like, man, we need a TV show. Like, we are funny. It's like, even though no one else probably thinks we're as funny as we think we are, we find each other hilarious. So
well, speaking of a TV show, talk about the Pure Flix animation. How on earth did that happen?
Really an unforeseen endeavor. I'll say that. Our producer, long time, Rob Hawkins, came to us and he sat us down. He's like, guys, I wanted to get into show running and animation. I'm like, okay, man, that's crazy. All right, we support that. He's like, but I want to make an animated show about Anthem Lights. We were like, oh.
Oh my gosh.
So we linked up and kind of pursued, you know, a partner to finance that, and he made the show. And then obviously Mark Stewart came along and connected the dots at PureFlix, and they loved the show, and so we did a season of a show about Anthem Lights, which you can watch on PureFlix anytime you'd like.
And what is it like to watch yourself in animation?
It's pretty weird. My kids love it. They're like, that looks and sounds so much like you. I'm like, yeah.
That's great. That is
I'll tell
great.
you what, going to the studio and recording voiceover instead of singing was such a welcomed like time in our lives for those few months that we were doing that. It was so fun to just go in and like, oh, we're not singing today. We're literally goofing around on microphone like till we're done. It's just crazy.
So funny. Yeah, and I can imagine. Did you guys do any of the writing for the storyline for that PureFlix? You just had to read the script.
No, we didn't personally write them, but they were all, because we had worked with Rob, you know, so many, like, I mean, hundreds of days, you know, of working together all day long. So he had plenty to draw from, plenty of inspiration, stories about us. He could be like, all right, that's a show, that's a show, that's a show.
Oh my goodness.
About us every episode.
Yeah, that is amazing that he came alongside you guys like that. How funny. How
So
fun.
great.
Yeah. And I mean, another aspect of your audience.
Yeah, dozens of people watch that show.
Dozens is crazy.
Oh, well, we can't wait for your project. We're so excited for all that's happened with Anthem Lights. And I'm just grateful that you guys are working, writing, producing, and putting something together. Can't wait to hear what direction it goes.
Thanks so much, Nick. Appreciate that.
That's awesome. Congratulations on the very successful campaign to get that funded. Wow. It's amazing.
Hey, that's 3 for 3 now on Kickstarter. So we just really need to shout out the fans for just coming around and supporting us literally for almost 10 years now. It's just insane. Insane.
It took some years of our lives away on how close to call, like within 10 minutes.
So we're incredible.
Fan base, baby.
With a hashtag.
Hashtag fan base.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much to Anthem Lights. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.